I hope I'm not perfect to be heard. Let's see. Can't hear me? Let's see. Can you hear me now? Hello, hello? Hello? Hello, hello? I'm,
We can hear you. We haven't started yet.
okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Should we be good? Good morning, testing. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, perfect. All right, it is 9:32. I am going to call this meeting to order. Good morning, everyone. My name is Arlisha Wilson. Welcome to today's Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. We're first going to start off with the preamble. I'll start with you, Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. My name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, this Monday, January 27th. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law and section 101.021, the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair. Sure. Madison? Holzer? Faith?
Present.
Roca?
Present.
And Wilson. Madam Chair, we have a full quorum. We do have one postponement this morning, and that is for Clover Avenue. And that is calendar 24-172 regarding 2033 Clover Avenue. Clover Court LTD proposed to construct a 24 apartment building in a B1 two-family zoning district. The appellant is requesting a postponement at this time. This would be the third postponement. They are still working to get with the City Planning Commission to complete the design review process. We're thinking maybe out to the middle of March. Seems that they've had some trouble with the holidays and everything and getting connected. So March 17th, that would be all right with the board members?
No
That's-
objection. No objection.
All right. So calendar number 24-172 is postponed to March 17th. There will be no testimony this morning. If you received a paper copy of the notice in the mail, you will receive another paper copy of the notice in the mail 10 days before the hearing. And that is all that we have for postponements and withdrawals.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I will now turn to Mr. Madison to go over the rules of the hearing, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The rules of the hearing, please speak clearly for the record so that our court reporter can record your information. And please make sure that you only speak one voice at a time. Do not speak unless recognized by the chair. Please raise your hand to be recognized. All conversation must go through the chair. This isn't a back and forth proceeding. And then please hold your comments until the speaker is done speaking. At the request of the chair, we may implement a 2-minute limit to make sure that we're continuing to move forward. So with that said, respect each other and respect the board. And I'll turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Madison. We're gonna go ahead. 24-216. Do we have appellate present for this matter?
Madam Chair, we do have a councilwoman in the room. I apologize.
Okay.
I actually see, we had Council President Griffin on first, and then just after he joined the room, I saw.
Okay, so as a courtesy to council, we always pull their cases and allow them to go first. So I am hearing that Mr. Griffin was here first, so we'll call calendar number 24-170. Do we have an appellant present for that matter? Anyone online present for calendar number 24-10? And this would be at 2075 Murray Hill Road. I'm not hearing an appellant present for this matter. Are you all the appellant? Or are you here to just discuss your opinion about the case? You're here to discuss your opinion? Okay. Anyone online present for this matter who is the appellant? Okay, looks like we do not have an appellant. Based on that absence, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Please.
if we could give them possibly another 30 minutes or so. Maybe
Okay.
they're running behind.
Okay, yeah, I'm
Okay.
happy to do that. We can recall the case in about 30 minutes. So then I will go next to calendar number 24-217. This is at 12706 Buckeye Road. Do we have an appellant present for this matter? Okay, please come forward to the table and I will turn it over to Ms. Hoser to read in the case.
Our first case is calendar number 24-217. This is at 12706 Buckeye Road. Gebroit Construction LLC owner proposes to change the use from store to self-service laundromat in a residence office district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. And with that, Chairwoman, I will hand it over to you for the oath.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hoser. I will swear in all who are present for this matter. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address. I'll start with you.
Deborah Gray, Councilwoman Deborah Gray, BORBH, DRY, 601.
Perfect, thank you. Uh-huh. Oh, turn the mics on. That's right. Yep. Why don't you press the button on yours as well? Perfect. We'll have to get used to this. Do we think we heard her? Should we have her do that again? Okay.
It's okay for the record.
Okay. You think we're okay? All right. I'll turn to you next.
My name is Jamie Johnson, JAMIE JOHNSON. In regards to 12706 Buckeye, I do.
Okay. Perfect. Is there anyone online present for this matter?
Yes, George Evans. Second one on the top.
I don't see.
George
Oh,
Evans.
George. George Evans, I'm told that you're present for this matter. Can you unmute your mic and swear in, please? I don't know if George is present. Oh, there you are.
Hello?
Okay, I'm gonna have you swear in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
My name is George Evans Jr. Yes, and you want my home address or just the building address?
Yes, the building address is fine.
12706 Buckeye Road, Cleveland, Ohio, 44120.
Okay. And did I hear you say I do?
I do.
Okay, thank you so much. Anyone else present for this matter? All right, hearing none, we will turn to history of the property.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 2004, it was changed to residence office. We didn't find much in our records administration office for this address. We did find that in 1959, a commercial refrigerator was installed. And then in the more recent history, we see that in 2017, a permit was issued to add a commercial kitchen. Then in 2024, a permit was also applied for to install an exhaust hood system in a commercial kitchen. There are no variances on file, and that's all that I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll now turn to legal, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance from the requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Okay, thank you so much. I will now turn to you and ask, share what you're doing with your project, please.
My intention is to take the facility, which has been depleted over the years, but to revitalize, working with the storefront renovation program to first of all make the exterior more appeasing to the neighborhood, Secondly, I want to offer more of an upscale laundromat in that neighborhood. Um, as you can see on the drawing, doing some landscaping as much as possible. Just basically help revitalize that neighborhood by bringing a product that I feel is better than having a retail store, as far as beer and wine. I just think it'd be a better look for the neighborhood with a laundromat. And I said basically that's more. I'm working with some good laundry people there. That's the layout design. I really think it's going to be a nice project inside and outside, and I think it can bring a good look to the neighborhood.
Okay, and what hours of operation do you intend to have?
Normal laundromat hours are usually from like 7 in the morning to 7 in the evening. Nothing late or anything like that.
Okay. And what about staffing?
Staffing, it's a self-serve laundromat, so one, maybe two attendants at a time, just to make sure that the building's upkeep is presentable at all times. Basically, like I said, by being a self-serve laundromat, the people in the neighborhood will be able to use the machines themselves, so we don't need any staff on hand as far as help to fold we're not going to do those type of things. We're just going to basically offer our service to the community.
Okay, and you heard legal read the standard of us approving this case. It requires that you articulate to us what hardship would you experience if you do not get the variance today?
I'm in agreement with Mr. Evans as far as purchasing this building. And of course, I've started that process, and I found out later on that I would have to go through zoning to get it appealed. So if I don't turn this into a laundromat, then that'll put me in a situation where monies will be lost for down payment, and basically I have no other ideal for the building. I do construction. I'm an electrician, so basically it wouldn't be feasible for me to do anything else with the building.
Okay, understood. Does that conclude your remarks? Should we hear from Mr. Evans now?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, Mr. Evans, you want to chime in? All right, any questions from the board?
Hello?
Oh, there you are. Hi, Mr. Evans. Do you have something to
Hello.
say about this project?
Yeah, there were some gaps in the legal description that came. I already received a variance for this building when I purchased it in 2014. We operated a convenience store out of this building for the last 8 years, and then I subsequently decided to retire because I'm old. I met Mr. Johnson after I left. He's a vibrant young man with some really good ideas. He has good backing. And I've been in that neighborhood for a few years, and it's definitely on the rise. I think that the project that he had, I turned down a lot of offers from other people to purchase the building and maintain the store that I had. But I think that the laundromat, especially the way he wants to do it, would be a very good addition to that neighborhood. It's a service that's necessary. He's going to do upgrades to the building, and I think it'll be a good project for the city for that neighborhood.
Okay, thank you so much for chiming in.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'll turn to you now. Please provide your comment.
Good morning, everyone. Councilwoman Deborah Gray again. Well, I have not met Mr. What's your name?
Johnson.
I never met Mr. Johnson. It's the first time. I know Mr. Evans through me coming council, visiting his beverage store when he had it. And then when he closed it, and then two other business women obtained it. But they were there on a short limit stream because they could not provide the economic finance to renovate the building. And I worked with them quite a bit to provide them economic service through the city to see if they were able to do it. The building, they tried their best, and then they ended up closing again, and they moved away. Mr. Evans contacted me again saying that a young man wanted to look into the building as a laundromat. And I told Mr. Evans that at that time, I wasn't, he just alerted me to let me know someone else wanted to look at a laundromat. I told Mr. Evans that I need to meet the young man, to have a conversation, which I never did. That never transacted. That person needed to understand the procedure, that he needed to put a petition to get signatures throughout the community, people to live in that community, so they could know that another business wanted to come into that building. So that didn't happen. He should have contacted me to let him know he needed to contact me to come to my community meeting to express that to the constituents in the community so they can see what will be coming into that ward. None of this happened at all. Plus, he needed to also contact the CDC, which is Burton Bell Carr. We are not aware, Burton Bell Carr is not aware of any transaction of a laundromat want to come in to that location, because that's the CDC of Ward 4, and we are in communication of approving any business that come into the ward. So that's the proper procedure. That shouldn't have happened. So the residents are not aware of it. I was aware of it, but no one contacted me after the fact. So those are the steps that this young man should have contacted me, and we could have had a conversation, and he could have been at one of my community meetings, which was all last year, which we don't have another community meeting until March. But the residents need to know what's coming into that community, because as right now, we are building a renovation of the entire Buckeye corridor to bring businesses on that corridor from 130th to 89th. We have also received $3.9 million to renovate a lot of the businesses, a lot of the commercial buildings from 118th to 122nd, and that borders the entire corridor between the north and the south side, between Councilman President Griffin and myself. So any transaction of any businesses that's coming into on Buckeye Corridor, they also need to contact Sharila Mullins, who's the representative for the East Region, who she works with me and Councilman Griffin to see what businesses that we want to line up on the Buckeye Corridor. We understand there are a lot of different phases that we want to bring into Buckeye Corridor, but also on 93rd and Buckeye, there's another laundromat, the spin and dry, or spin or something, that been on Buckeye for, 15, 20 some years. That's adequate for that area. So we have that there, and it's have been serving the community for many, many years. Even though it's on the 93rd end of Buckeye, right across from Morty Star Church. If you're familiar with the neighborhood, that's where the spin and dry laundromat is. It's adequate. It's been serving the community for a long time. We have other laundromats that's designated in the certain areas. Also, we have one on Union. That's a spin and dry on Union. So we have to look at how many laundromats that we need in our community. I got somebody else that want to bring a laundromat on 116th and 4th. So that might come up. Do we need that many laundromats? Do these laundromats bring economic wealth for the community as in growth? So by me working with the CDC and the economic department, we're looking at that whole lineup to bring in new faces of different type of businesses so we can build an economic wealth, be a more viable business community to connect with Shaker Square as we already doing. So we're looking at that whole scope. So we know there are different needs, but this gentleman who I just met today have not sat with me in a conversation and have not walk a neighborhood to ask the residents, do they want another laundromat on Buckeye Road on that end of Buckeye Road? Because that's 127. We got a laundromat on 93rd. So we got a laundromat on Union. We had to look at the scope of the need. So moving forward, I would like to have a conversation with him. He needs to pull that petition, walk through that neighborhood in that area to talk with the residents to see if that's something they want to have in that area, and then also get with the CDC, which is the economic director, Joy Johnson, and I also get with Sharita Mullins so she can sit down and talk with him to see the need that he want to bring, if that's some of the scope that we want to add to the other businesses that we want to bring on Buckeye Road.
Okay, I'll turn to you again. What's your response to that? Have you done any community engagement regarding your project?
Well, first of all, you and I have spoke. You pointed me in the direction we spoke about zoning, and you sent me in the direction of Kim Scott.
Kim Scott, okay, you remind me,
Okay.
okay?
And and to be honest with you, as far as the petition situation, I spoke with Kim and Marka, and all of us sat down and had a meeting, and they basically said that that area did need a laundromat, and they were on board with it. They were actually, because I want to pull, I don't want to talk about anybody's business, but I want to make, if you've been to Spin Cycle on 93rd, it's not in the greatest condition. The same one as Union. I want to bring something nicer because I do want to pull from the upper end. I know there's a lot of housing going on in behind Dave's, the Buckeye area, and I just want my clientele to service more of the upper end than the lower end. Not that I can control where customers come, but I do want my facility be a way nicer facility than the ones that the community offers. And most importantly, I think the community needs a laundromat more than they need another convenience store with beer, wine, lottery, what was there existing. And basically, we still have our permits and our license, stuff like that, but I just really feel that a laundromat would serve the community way more than selling beer and wine.
Okay, well, I don't remember, that was a while ago when we spoke, and since you said that, I did send you to Kim Scott, but no one sent me an email, a receipt saying that conversation happened. I didn't know after the conversation with Kim or with Maka. However, if that conversation happened, a petition still should have been pulled for the residents to know that this is something that he wants to bring into that neighborhood. And
So whose responsibility is it to pull the petition?
his,
Okay, and how would he have known
through Kim Scott, through, I guess, talking with,
Never told.
he should have got contact with me because I didn't have meetings with new businesses coming into Ward 4. And everybody went and pulled a petition, got signatures. I've been into this hearing many times on various other businesses coming to Ward 4. They go pull a petition, they walk up and down the streets in that vicinity, and then they let the residents know that they're coming in, they want to bring this business in. That's a conversation he should have came back to say, Councilwoman Gray, I talked to Kim, I talked to Maka, so what's my next move?
Does he pull that petition from your office?
No.
Or from somewhere else?
No, I
Make sure he's clear about how to get this petition.
But also, let me finish. Also, if he would have called me back, I would have scheduled him at my community meeting to bring it to the residents in the community so they can be aware this is something that he wants to bring into Ward 4. And everyone that brought a new business in Ward 4 presented that and came back, not only once, they came back twice just to reiterate what they're doing, the next step, and how we can be partners, whatever they're going to come into the community. So by him not reaching back out to me, I didn't know that he had spoke with, I sent him to Kim, but no one sent me a receipt.
So how does he understand how to get the petition pulled? Where does he go for the petition?
I'll be honest with you, that's on their end. That is not on, I don't give them the guidance.
That you can help him with, Mr. Bay, where to pull the petition?
So this is Xavier Bay representing city planning. Typically, we don't provide petitions. It's not a city planning requirement for a petition.
Okay.
For previous cases, I know the applicants have just gotten signatures themselves and tried to provide that to council people.
Understood. Okay, please.
I know somebody reached out to the community. I just don't know who, because the barbershop that's next door to me said they received something about the zoning meeting.
Right.
So I don't know.
Mhm.
To be honest with you, there's no disrespect to you,
Right.
but I didn't know the process. When you asked me to call Kim, I called
That's
Kim.
what was done.
And I just went through, and when Kim said I need to meet with Marka and so on and so forth, never any disrespect
Yeah,
to
you
you.
should-
I just kept going through. She told me to talk to this person. She told me to talk to this person.
Right.
And I just went through. And if I'd known I had to petition or go backwards or come back, I never disrespect to anyone.
Right, and I
But I
understand that.
just, when this person told me to go to this person, I just kept going until I got here today.
Okay, understood.
But-
Any questions from the board?
Madam Chair, we went over hours of operation, but I don't think we got the days of the week. And I'm also curious as to his plan. Is it going to be a laundromat where people load funds onto a card and then use the card for the machines as opposed to putting currency into the machines?
Okay.
What is his process on that? And days of operation?
Days of operation would be 7 days a week.
Okay,
As far as the equipment, I think for safety purposes, the money will be loaded onto a card instead of into machines, because from my experience and speaking with the laundromat company, it just stops people from vandalizing the machines.
exactly.
Right, so everything goes in basically, it's in a diagram, but goes into what we call a safe room, where
Right.
basically the cars are loaded, all the money's kept in that particular room, just to minimize vandalism and opportunity for people who may not even want to use the laundromat, but think they have an opportunity to break into machines. I just want to eliminate that for my sake as well as the community's sake.
Okay,
Excellent.
and
That's
how
what I
many?
was going for. One follow-up question with
Mhm.
regard to security. What means are you and measures are you taking for security? Cameras, exterior lighting, things of that nature?
All of that, exterior lighting. Like I said, I am an electrician, so those are things that I specialize in. So I will definitely make sure that my facility, even if I'm not there, I can monitor the facility as well as make sure people of the community, my employees, everybody is safe, as well as lighting, because that area is kind of dark at night. But once again, like I said, I plan on completely redoing lighting, parking lot, signage. I've spoken with Marka as far as signage. Like I said, no disrespect to Ms. Gray, but I've spoken to a lot of people about making this a better project. I went to zoning and planning, spoke with Chuck. Actually, they helped me do the layout to make sure that project would be appropriate and safe for the community.
Okay, and there was one additional question regarding the days of the week that you
That
would
was
operate.
7 days.
7 days.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
He covered that, Madam Chair. So, and just as a point of information, it sounds like he's had extensive conversation with city planning and zoning, just unfortunately not with Councilwoman. And I believe we have Kim Scott on with us. Maybe we could get comment from her.
I don't know if she's on.
There was another lady I met too, Kim Scott, Marka, and there was another lady. that
Okay.
was there, too.
Is there any, perfect segue. I'll turn to you, Mr. Bay. Any comment from city planning?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, given the testimony, it sounds like there has been previous communications with our with City Planning Commission staff. And this site in particular, I mean, we would recommend infill along the businesses along this corridor. Typically, we would recommend approval for cases of this nature, but it sounds like the councilwoman would desire a postponement to hear more of what the community desires. So I guess we would ask if it would be clear that the councilwoman is asking for a postponement today, or if she'd like to move forward with this case.
So I think because we've heard testimony, we spent a lot of time on this case. My question would be, are you okay with, if we move forward to a vote, if this is approved, a condition would be before he could get ratified, before he could move forward, he would have to pull the petition, get community signatures, and attend your community meeting.
But-
Is that something you're okay with?
I'm okay with that, but if you move forward with a vote, then you're not giving the residents in the community a chance to hear what is coming into the community prior to that. This is something that, this is so important to this community that I lived in, that I've been living in for 40 years. We have not been involved or engaged into being partnership to what's coming in this community. And for the first time, we're changing the scope of the residents to know what's coming in prior to them getting that approval. The residents are now engaged. They are now being whole and I'm giving them transparency. We have built trust and understanding to know that their voice and their understanding is first too. So they're part of the package to be part of any decision. So if a laundromat is coming in the community, those people will be patronizing this laundromat. They'll be patronizing his business. He needs to become a partner with the residents who's going to be patronizing his business to know that it's coming and they are willing to be a partner and assist him as well in his economic growth, as well as reaching out to the CDC. Now, the CDC is Burton Bell Carr. I don't know if they were, because they also, I'm not sure how that worked with the CDC, but I know they supposed to give. They're supposed to be acknowledged to also to approve the businesses that's coming into the corridor as well. So we work hand in hand, and I've been at these meetings, and I know the CDC, and I know businesses had to go to CDC to get their approval as well as the council, so we can know how we can work together with the businesses. So I know there's a need all the time, but yes, I would like a postponement for him to take the time to get that petition, go to that and go in that area. He don't need to go all up and down the entire Ward 4, just 128th. Buckeye Road, 126. Those streets that's in that area need to know, those residents need to know what's going on, then also come to my meeting and present it to the other residents to know that if this coming, they know it's coming in the neighborhood. So that's the respect that I ask as a council for the businesses that's going to come, so we can partner up and have a better relationship instead of somebody popping in and that my office going to be flooded with calls and say, why wasn't we notified?
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll entertain a motion. It looks like Shannon has her hand up. And the motion can be to postpone or the motion can be to continue with a condition. So is there a motion? Before the motion, Shannon, did you have a comment on this? I see your hand raised.
Yeah, good morning, Madam Chair. Shannon Leonard, Chief Zoning Administrator. Could Liz, just for the record, explain the notification process?
Please.
And just to note that this, I respect the councilwoman's wishes and understand her concerns, but I just want to clarify just for the process in terms of for city planning, when it's a variance that's needed, the Board of Zoning Appeals serves as the public hearing by law for the community to come and comment and to weigh in on whether, they're completely opposed or non-opposed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Leonard. Madam Secretary?
Sure, thank you. So as you know, we do send out public notice to nearby property owners. In this case, we did notify 26 people in the area in the immediate vicinity. And the public notice went out on January 2nd. And if I can get the distance. So we did a radius of approximately 800, looks like 800 feet. And that captured the 26 people that were notified.
Okay, so it sounds like there was some public notice that went out. All right, based on that, board, is there a motion, please?
I just have
Oh,
a
sure.
question
Yes,
through
please.
you. Because I guess I would like to understand just going forward, because it seems like this gentleman has done a lot to just engage some of the departments. So through you, Madam Chair, to the councilwoman, as we go forward or potential new businesses come into the area, what can take place to strengthen just the communication that you have as it relates to the information that's coming through? Because it seems like he's connected with a couple of departments internally, and then also I heard that he's engaged with the storefront program.
Storefront renovation program, we can get in detail. And also, I did reach out to the CDC on
You did?
Bill Cart on Kinsman. I spoke. I can, if you, I got emails in my phone.
Okay.
I've spoken. There was a breakdown of communication. Once again, no disrespect to you, but everybody told me to talk to this person, and I went to talk to everybody. Like I said, I initially talked to you, and I just followed the chain of command. No, I promise you, no. And moving forward, I do still want to reach out to you because I feel that you can be helpful with the process that I'm trying to do and help me, because the CDC is not the greatest about returning. I've been to their office, I received email, responded to email, and didn't get anything back. So I know with working with the council person, that will help me. So like I said, I'm not trying to undermine or go behind anybody's back, and I would like to sit down and continue to work with you personally.
But yeah, thank you. My question was to you, Councilwoman. What's the process in terms of where you can receive some of this information? Or is there other places where you do get notification when he does go to the CDC or any of the internal programs, or even with the city planning piece? Do you get any of this information, or what is needed for you to be aware?
Well, like I said, there's a disconnection with this, with him per se, but everyone else who I have worked with along the way, they always called me and said, Councilwoman Gray, I did visit this person who you suggest I talk to. What is the next process? And I would have basically just known from the person who want to bring in the business. And I say, your next process is to set up to come to my community meeting to let the community know that this business is coming into the community, as well as bring your petitions to show that the residents know that you already engaged with your petition, to say that you met and a lot of the residents in that area, to show that you have their approval, they're okay. And the residents at the meeting, they're different than the ones that live in the neighborhood, but as a whole, for them to know that they can come and patronize your business, that normally comes from the business owner who's working with the process. I don't have a set protocol from our office, but the protocol is for him to just continue to stay in contact with me, to know that he had to come to one of the meetings to present his business coming into the community. And everyone that have, since I've been in this position, have done that, presented their business package to me, because they just kept me informed on, I got the approval here and I got the approval there. I talked with this person, so what is our next move together? So like I said, last time we spoke was last year sometime, right?
I met with Mr. Evans around July and made the initial contact with him. And he reached out to you initially, and then I reached out to you.
But that was last summer,
That
right?
was and then that's when I found out that we had.
As I
It
told you.
was back and forth about the zoning, because he had a retail business already pre-existing in there. And because he had a variance, we thought that the variance would carry over to the next business. But later, like I said, it's been a process. I've been talking to a lot of people, and that's what brought it. Wasn't any type of delay like I was delaying it. It was just talk to this person, and that's why I got here. It wasn't about, like I said, once nothing gets heard, I just followed the trail that was given to me.
Okay, so we have an appellant who's here requesting the variance. It sounds like he's testified as to the process that he's followed. Is there a motion from the board regarding this variance?
Madam Chair, I'll move with a motion. Given the testimony we've heard today with regard to the hours of operation, the handling of funds, money within the operation, and the exterior security, the remote monitoring. We've also heard testimony from the appellant that he has had meetings with both city planning and the zoning commission, and is already plugged into the storefront renovation program. and was in contact with the CDC. As the councilwoman knows, I am very sensitive to her protocol with processing appellants through the system. For whatever reason, she was not, as a stakeholder, part of any discussion with city planning, excuse me, or the CDC. But again, this appellant has been moved along through the process and is before us. And again, as we've heard testimony, the Board of Zoning Appeals is the public hearing, and within a reasonable circumference of this address, there has been public notification, and we have not heard any opposition comments to this. That all said, I move that we approve calendar number 24-217 with the condition that that the appellant continue with his process with city planning. Excuse me. And the requests of the councilwoman in securing signatures of community members in his area attending her community meeting, which is not until March, and so that he has the opportunity to move forward with renovation and improvements to the building, pending approval of city planning, and but still complete obligations to the councilwoman. So
Okay.
I move we approve based on that condition.
Thank you, Ms. Faith. Is there a second?
A second, Madison.
Okay, can we call the roll?
Madam Chair, if we could clarify, just for the record, are we holding ratification then until after the public meeting?
It sounds like her motion was to continue so that he can pull the petitions as a condition. Did I hear you wanted to hold as a condition for the public meeting, Ms. Faith?
I want to have, I would not hold ratification, but I would absolutely make it necessary that the city council, the councilwoman's office notify us that they have received petition, that he has attended the community meeting, and that there has been community engagement with the adjacent neighbors, so that is on file. But he has moved forward significantly with city planning and has been in contact with the CDC and zoning. So I don't feel that we can hold ratification. I just want to make those requirements to go in the file. And then this sets a precedent for how we move forward, particularly with any addresses that might fall into this economic development corridor going forward.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Faith. So it sounds like we will not hold ratification pending the community meeting.
Okay,
Call the roll?
all right. Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Calendar number 24-217 is granted conditionally. We will ratify it next Monday. We will send you a letter. You can contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
I greatly appreciate everyone. Appreciate everyone.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Please meet with your
Thank you.
councilwoman.
Thank you.
Yes, please. All right, we're going to call the next case. I will circle back to Council President Griffin. His matter, which would be calendar number 24-170. Is there an appellant present for this matter?
Yes. Lavita Parker, Council President, Executive Assistant.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Parker. I'm looking for the person who has applied for this variance. Are you present? It looks like we still do not have an appellant present. It is now 10:17. We call this to order at 9:32. There's no appellant present. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, has staff reached out to this person during the time that we were hearing about the other case?
Go ahead, Madam
Yes,
Secretary.
Madam Chair, we did reach out
Okay,
and have not heard anything back. Thank you.
all right. And this has been postponed how many times?
This has been postponed twice, it looks like, Ms. Faith.
Yes.
Okay, I move to dismiss.
Second.
All right.
Madison.
We call the roll?
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-170 is dismissed. To the people in the audience, the appellant, if he wants to go forward, will have to apply again. You will be notified if we hold a public meeting in the future, but at this time, it does not have permits to erect the fence.
Thank you so much for coming down. We hate that we didn't get to hear your voice today, but we're gonna go ahead and dismiss it. All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Parker, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Take care.
You
Chair
too.
Levita.
All right, we're gonna go back up to the top of the agenda with calendar number 24-216. Is there an appellant for this matter? Okay, perfect. I'll have you come forward and we'll have you call the roll. Ms. Faith, did you?
I just had a question. I thought I saw that we had another council online. Council Santana?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Santana. The case that you're here for has been postponed. The new date is March 17th.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Madam Chair, for letting me know.
Absolutely, you're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
No problem. All right, we're calling calendar number 24-216. I'll turn to you, Ms. Holzer, to read that in.
Our next case is calendar number, I'm gonna turn that on. Our next case is calendar number 24-216. This is at 3034 Barber Avenue. TNR Builders, Inc. owner proposes to erect a 1,556 square foot two-story frame, single-family residence and a two-story frame detached garage with a 792 square foot single-family dwelling on the second floor in a D1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 5. And with that, I will hand it over to Madam Chair for the oath.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'll swear in all who are present for this matter. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are going to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You raise your right hand to reply with I do. State your name, spell your name, give your address. I'll start with you.
Yes, I do. My name is Ron Potasic. It's spelled P-T-A-C-E-K. 13880 Stony Creek Drive, North Royalton, Ohio.
All right, and did I hear you say I do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I do. David Sable, D-A-V-I-D, Sable, S-A-B-O-L, David Sable Architects, 10065 Echo Hill Drive, Brecksville, Ohio.
Okay, perfect. Is there anyone online present for this matter? All right, hearing none, we'll turn to history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1914, a permit was issued to erect a dwelling addition. And then in 1977, a permit was issued to demolish a two-family dwelling on site. And there are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn now to legal, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the minimum lot size, minimum lot width, minimum floor area, front yard setback, required rear yard, and distance between buildings requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. Note the board is limited in its ability to grant the front yard setback under section 329.04C.
Okay, thank you so much. I will now turn to which one of you wants to start first?
I can start.
You want to start?
Mhm.
Okay, go right ahead. Tell
Okay.
the court reporter your name before you start.
Okay, my name's Ron Potasic.
Okay,
What we're proposing is a new two-story family dwelling with an apartment on the back over the garage. And we come for, 1, 2, 3, 4, actually 4 variances. The first one is the lot. It's, the lot requirement and stuff that you're calling for 6,000 square feet. We're at 3,750. But that's the size of those properties there. They're quite small to be building on there and stuff like that. So, and the minimum floor square footage is 950. We're proposing 792. That's the garage area with the apartment above.
Okay.
That would be the first one. The second one, it would be the front yard setback, which you guys have at 18.75 and we had it at 14. What we're gonna do is we already made the changes to bring this back to meet code at 18.75. Because from what I understand, you can't do anything with that anyways.
Okay, so you've updated your
I've
site plan?
updated my site plan already and stuff
Perfect.
like
And
that.
you've submitted it to the office?
It didn't go back yet, though. I just did it.
Just did
I
that,
sent it-
okay.
I don't know if Dave has a copy of it, but I think if
Yeah,
that was
it's a
bigger,
copy of
you
it.
would see it on that. You can't
Okay.
really see it
Can't
over
quite see it
there.
Okay, okay, understood.
But that would just alleviate that
Okay,
and get rid of that one over there if we could do that over there. The third one is, the rear yard setback. It says less than 25 feet. We're proposing 4 feet, but we have no option with this over there with the size of these lots. That's to the back garage apartment. Yeah, you can see it on the drawing up at the top over there. You see the 4 foot to the back of it up there.
okay, so before you put the addition, what is the setback?
There is no addition. That's the brand new house. This is all brand
Okay.
new. This is all brand new. It's a vacant lot right now.
Oh, I see. I thought I heard you said you putting something over the garage.
It's designed with an apartment up over the garage.
Got
That's
it.
what they're saying on the first of the minimum floor setback here.
Okay, understood.
So in order to get all this on the property, that's the best we
You
can
gotta
do
make
to
it
fit
fit.
all that
Yep,
stuff.
yep,
you know?
understood.
And, that would be the garage at 25 feet, the distance between, and then we've got, what's that?
And just a point of clarity on number 4.
Okay,
Number 4 was proposed with the front yard setback being proposed to 14 feet. The, Ron has basically gonna move that 4 feet further back, which means that the space between the house and the garage will be constricted now to 22 feet, 3 inches, as opposed to the 27 feet noted on this request.
okay, so it's 22 feet instead.
Yeah, because originally we had 14 foot, and then when you move it back to the 18, we lost that extra 4 feet that way.
Sure, okay.
And the last one was from the planning commission review design, which I do have a letter from them, but it was from a while back and stuff like that. I don't know if that was submitted or not, but I hope it was.
Okay, and what does your letter state for the record?
It was approved.
By the planning commission?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Very good. All right, any other comments about your project that you want to share?
No, basically I have another letter and stuff that was sent from Metro West.
Okay, and what does your letter say from Metro West?
We believe this project will provide much needed development and investment for the Barber Queen Vega area. This development project is a part of a long-term trend in the BVQ area redevelopment spaces for residential housing. We are excited to see this inclusion of accessory dwelling units, ADU, in a development plan, which is crucial to address the demand for additional housing units in the city. In addition, we will feed into the growth and stabilization of the Clark Fulton neighborhood area to come.
Okay, is that something you would want to submit to the
I
secretary?
would
and have
like
a part
that
of the
if I
file?
could.
Absolutely.
I would like to have both these if I could.
Both of them submitted? Okay, if you could give them to our secretary and we'll add them to the file. Perfect. All right, any other comments from either of you?
And just some clarity in terms of designing for that particular property. Because of the size of the property, the 125 feet deep by 30 feet wide, it did create some practical difficulties to get a viable project without some consideration of various setbacks. So we did try to keep the front yard setback because that was important to the overall public view of that property. But there were some constraints that are needed for the various side yard and rear yard setbacks to make it viable.
Okay, I was going to ask that question, so thank you for addressing that. Anything further from you?
No, I don't think so.
Nothing further? Okay. I see your hand raised. Are you interested in speaking in this case? Please, okay, come on up and I'm going to swear you in before you give your comment. All right. I'm going to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name and spell your name and give your address.
I do. Michael Rastetter. That's Michael. Last name is spelled R-A-S as in Sam, T as in Tom, A, double T as in Tom, E-R.
Okay.
And I'm with Howard Hanna. Address is 1809 West 50th Street in Cleveland.
Okay. And go ahead and give your comment.
Yep. Thank you. So I am the real estate broker that was hired by Ron and the previous architect to sell the project. And I did speak with Councilman McCormick, and he was in support of the project. He did ask me to send him an email, which I did, and he was supposed to forward an email, I believe, to your board in support.
Okay.
I also spoke with Anthony at Metro West, who provided the letter of support.
Okay.
And did state in that conversation, I think in the letter too, or in the email actually, that the councilman was in support of the project.
Okay.
When it initially went through design review, the planning commission and the design review committee were really excited about it because of the ADU component over the garage. There is currently no other projects really in the city that are building new construction with additional ADU units over the garage. It's kind of one of those things that's trending across the country now as a possible solution for affordable housing. So we feel it's a really exciting project, and obviously I'm in support of it. As of the beginning of January, we actually have a buyer that's put down a deposit for a reservation to build it. So it's no longer a spec build. We're looking to build it on behalf of an individual. And there currently is, as you'll see, two single-family homes proposed for both of those parcel, one of which is on the agenda today. When we received that deposit in January, we actually received a second one. So the second property is not actually listed, but we received a deposit and a reservation to build the second one. And as Ron could attest, doing a project like this, it would probably be most cost effective to do both foundations at the same time. So everything kind of happened fast, and we were preparing to get to this meeting. So only currently one permit has been filed, but the houses are they're identical mirror images of one another. So presumably the same exact variances are going to be requested for the second one. I don't know if it's possible to get those variances granted today because it's there in front of you and it's a mirror image of the other, but that would be great.
No, unfortunately, if the application has not been submitted, we can't do that. There's a whole public process that we have to follow. So just resubmit that application. But that is good news, good
Yeah, it's great
progress
news.
that you
Yeah,
have
we're really excited.
something
that
on
we
the
have
table
two
like that. Yeah.
reservations, and I think it'll be a game changer, to see those go up on the block and,
Mhm.
help spur other development.
Awesome. Okay. Any further comment from any of you? All right, we'll turn to city planning. Any opinion on this project?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Xavier Bay representing City Planning. We're in support of the variances requested. As the applicants mentioned, they have adjusted the front yard to meet code. We're supportive of different housing typologies. So that's all I have to say.
Okay. And any questions from the board? All right.
The usual question, Madam Chair, with regard to the housing unit above the garage, is there any intent now or in the future to use that for short-term rental?
I guess I'll speak to that. My name is Michael Rastetter with Howard Hanna. I guess ultimately that would be on the buyer of the property. It's, the buyer has not mentioned it as a short-term rental. Both buyers intend to own or occupy the primary residence there and rent, put the ADU up for rent, to help subsidize their own mortgage. But there's been no mention of short-term rental.
Okay, so intent is probably long-term then.
That's what I've been told, yes.
Okay, great, thank you. That concludes my question, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Faith. Any additional questions from the board? All right, hearing nothing, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I
Madam-
move approval.
Go ahead.
I move approval of 24-216.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hoser. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Ms. Faith. Can we call the roll?
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Calendar number 24-216 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday and we will send you a letter.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
All right, we are moving next to calendar number 24-218. Any appellant present for this matter in the room?
Yes.
Any appellant online?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, perfect. I'll turn to you now, Ms. Holzer, to read the case in.
Our next case is calendar number 24-218. This is at 12904 Lenacrave Avenue. W-1 Bros Brothers LLC owner proposes to establish use as a residential facility for 5 occupants in a B12 family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And with that, I will hand it over to you, Madam Chair, for the oath.
All right, Ms. Moore, I am going to swear you in before you give your testimony. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
Yes, Monique Moore, MoniqueMoore, 12904 Lenacrave Avenue. And what's the last thing you asked for?
For you to say I do, that you swear or?
Yeah, I said I do. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else online wishing to speak in this matter? All right, hearing none, we will turn to the history of the property, please.
Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1921, a permit was issued to erect a dwelling and a garage. In 1974, a permit was issued to erect a fence. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Secretary. We'll turn to legal now, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Okay, thank you so much. Ms. Moore, I will start with you. Please tell us about your project.
Yes, just let me give you a background about my history. All of my life, pretty much working life, I have worked in the criminal justice arena. The last 20 plus years, I was probation officer with Cuyahoga County Adult Probation. The reason why I feel it necessary for me to turn this home into a group home is because there is a need. With the increased number of, decreased number of housing in our community, as well as the increase of rent that is being charged to these individuals, people getting out of prison is going to have a very difficult time acclimating themselves back into the community. I believe that this house would be a tremendous asset to the community, particularly for women who are getting out of prison. It would allow them to not only acclimate themselves back into the community, but it would also help them to reestablish a relationship back with their families. And I'm hoping that with the approval of the board, that you guys would allow me an opportunity to do that. Now, the house will serve, hopefully, with the approval of the DODD, they will come out and evaluate again to see how many individuals will be allowed to reside in this house. And again, I'm hoping that I can open it up to women getting out of prison. I'm hoping I can, again, help them reestablish a relationship so that they can become self-sufficient individuals back into the community. So, and that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Are you here for this? Okay, you want to come up? All right, so I will go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Raise your right hand to reply with I do. State
I
your
do.
names.
My name is Kenya Gray, KenyaGray.
Okay, and give your address.
I'll let you know, 601 Lakeside. Yeah, City Hall. So I'm the city planner for this area, and we looked at this case a couple of times. I think we were in contact. There was a conversation, an email thread with Kayla Flake, myself, and then Miss Moore. We received some site plans, and it was unclear as to like how much space was available and the amount of tenants that would be residing in the place. So my only question is, how many tenants will we realistically be looking at for this space? And if you can answer that, like, let me know. Because the two site plans were confusing because there were two different site plans. So we just didn't know, like, or we don't know, how many people you intend to have here.
Well, it's, from my understanding, based on the requirement, I can have as many as 5, but no more. But the way the house is set up, I may be able to get 3 in there. So if I can get 3, then that would be great. But if it can be 5, then that would also be even better. Now, the intent for the group home is to have employees there on a 24-hour basis. But not only that, we're going to have security on the inside as well as at the outside that will add that extra security, not only for the house, but for the neighborhood as well.
What type of security? Like, you mean like a security guard on the premise?
No,
20, like, what do you mean?
We're going to have employees there anyway, morning, evening, and a night shift, overnight shift. But we're also going to have cameras, security cameras on the inside as well as the surrounding house.
Okay. Are you going to be like giving the tenants medications as well, like prescription?
That at this time, no. That's at a later date. Yeah. So I'm hoping that we can get high functional individuals who's getting out of prison, but also have a support system from like Recovery Resources, Mental Health Board. So again, that they can have a lot of resources available to them to help them make that transition.
Okay. Have you been in contact with the CDC down there, Union Mounds Development, or I'm sorry, New Point Development?
Well, I spoke to Kenya Gray, a former coworker of mine. I don't know if
That's me. You sure?
No, there's another Kenya Gray. He was a
really?
officer. Yeah, he was a probation officer at the Cuyahoga County.
Oh, that's my dad. Okay, yeah.
Is that your dad?
Oh, wow.
It is.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right,
Okay,
so
yeah.
have you?
Yes,
Have
I
you-
did. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Just tell us about your contact with the CDC.
Well, I contacted the CDC, who then put me in contact with the lady that he mentioned. I forget what, I can't remember her name right now. They also put me in contact with the councilman, which I left several messages from him, and we've been playing phone tag. So, yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to know how much contact you've had, because they're right down the street. So I just wanted to know what their opinion would be on this matter. I haven't spoken to them about it, so I just wanted to know what they've said to you so far. But
Yeah,
okay.
I haven't got it right. I haven't got any information either.
I don't have any more questions, I guess.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Madam Chair, we've not had any statement from the CDC or the councilperson. I apologize. I am on a black screen, so I don't know if we have a floor plan showing furniture placement and the capacity, the visual capacity for the number of residents. And so those are things that we would typically ask for. I understand that we have 3 shifts, 24-hour staff with the maximum capacity of 5 persons, but it seems to me we're lacking some information. And we also are, this facility would be within 1,000 feet of another residential facility. as mentioned in the agenda.
Yes, may I answer?
Please.
May I say something? Yes, I wasn't informed of the actual furniture layout. I was just given the information that I can give a generic layout of the property. As far as the footage is concerned, but this is something my attorney and I went over. When you look, I don't know if that bubble is an accurate representation of the footage, meaning that from where my house is to where the Waterson house is, it's actually 2,112 feet. Because when you look at the miles, how many miles is in the foot? It's 5,280. Mine is actually 40% of that distance from Waterson. So I don't know if that circle is an actual depiction, but it's easy to do the calculation to see exactly the footage away from each house.
Okay, Ms. Faith, does that answer your question?
Well, I think Mr. Bay can confirm the footage based on, I mean, that's a matter of fact pulled off of a statistical map.
I'm speaking specifically to the site plan. So there was a site plan that was placed on the screen. I wanted to make sure you had an opportunity to review that and that answered your questions.
Well, I can't review it because I have a dark screen. But if we have a site plan, but we have no floor plan, that's my only question. And we have no support from CDC or council.
Madam Chair, if I may. We do have the site plans, just to Ms. Faith, we do have site plans on file. They do give dimensions of the rooms. However, as it was stated, the furniture is not shown on the site plans.
Okay.
And also, we have not received any letters from those entities that you stated. And we also haven't received any letters from neighbors supporting or objecting.
Right.
Okay.
So what's been the level of community engagement then?
Ms.
As far
Moore,
as
can
I'm
you,
concerned, absolutely. The neighbors that I was in contact with are all for it. So I don't know if CDC was able to reach out further beyond the scope, but my surrounding neighbors are, because they know me and they know how vigilant I am when it comes to operating my business as well as my house. So they don't see a problem with it, but we don't have anything, of course, in writing.
Great. Thank you for that.
all right, any other questions? Please, Ms. Roca.
Thank you, Madam Chair, through the chair to the appellant. Could you please specify how many clientele will be in each bedroom? Will the clients have their own bedrooms and their own bathrooms? So if you could clarify that, and then also speak to the hardship that you would face if your variances are not granted today.
Well, I know from past experiences with people getting out of prison, depending on the size of the room, you can have 1 or 2 people. So that would be a decision based on a DODD once they come out and review the size of the bedrooms to determine how many can fit in. So now in terms of the hardship, it would definitely devastate. Not to say I don't have options. I can rent it out. I can rent it out to Section 8. But my whole agenda right now is to help those individuals, because I do come from a criminal justice background, to help those individuals to acclimate themselves back into the community, because you know and I know that one of the greatest, hardest things to find right now is affordable, clean, and safe housing. I do believe that if I'm not given an opportunity to do this, then I really don't want to rent it out. I really want to provide more of a service to individuals getting out of prison.
Do you reside at the property?
Yeah, currently I reside at the property.
And is it your plan to continue to reside at the property, or will you vacate once the residential group home is established?
Yes, I plan on vacating once the group home is established, yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Roca. Any questions from any other board members?
Madam Chair, just for the record, Ms. Moore, you are the owner of W1 Bros LLC.
Right, and let me tell you what the W1 means. Yes, I am the owner. It means we are one. You know, because I come from I want to be a holistic person, meaning that I embrace especially the people that are underrepresented, those people that have a hard time adjusting to certain situations. That's why I named it Juan Brothers, because we are one and we're supposed to be, I am my brother's keeper, so to speak.
Okay.
Madam
Additional
Chair.
questions, please?
Through you, just a question. You might have mentioned this. Is this for men or women? What's the focus in terms of gender?
The focus is women.
Thank you. And through you, Madam Chair, just a question of process. I did hear that the home seems like it's more accommodating for 3. The request is for 5 as a board. Do we have the option to limit between 3 or 5? Or do we have to choose based on the code itself?
That
we
may
don't
be a
have-
question for Ms. Leonard. Ms. Leonard, are you here to opine?
I am here, Madam Chair. Can he rephrase that question, please?
Sure.
I heard earlier that questions were around the accommodating of people in the space. Between 3 was a number that came forward earlier, but the request is for 5. That's written out on the paper here. So my question is, do we have options between the 3 or do we have to go with what's in the code around 5?
So a small residential facility is for residents between 1 and 5. Anything less than 6 is considered a small residential facility. So that's the variance that they're requesting. In terms of the occupancy, if you were to condition it, it would be conditioned on their certificate of occupancy. So if the applicant is saying, I want 3 residents, we would max the occupancy permit to say a maximum of 3 residents.
Thank you.
I hope
Any
that's
additional?
clear.
That was clear. Thank you so much, Ms. Leonard. Any other questions from the board? All
None for
right.
me.
Thank you. And Mr. Bay, I will assume that you're deferring to Mr. Gray, or do you have comment?
No, I don't have any other comments. Yeah, everything was stated for Mr. Gray.
Okay, very good. I'll entertain a motion, please.
I thought Mr. Madison was ready for one.
Good. Madam Chair, I move to approve calendar number 24-2018 with just the condition of adding the community engagement piece moving forward.
Okay, is there a second?
Madam Chair, to Mr. Madison, did you wish to make a condition on the number of occupants?
Yes, I would make the condition to be reflective of the number of 3 that was mentioned earlier.
I would second that motion, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Faith. Can we call the roll?
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-218 is granted conditionally based upon the condition that only 3 members would reside in the property. We will ratify this next Monday and we will send the appellant a letter. She can contact our office next Wednesday for further instruction.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Ms. Moore. Good luck with your project. Have a good day.
You too.
Madam Chair, through you to Ms. Kukla, I believe the public engagement condition needs to also be stated.
I apologize. I'm not sure what the directive was on that.
Mr. Madison, you want to provide clarity on your motion?
Just clarity on the motion. Public engagement as it relates to engaging with the city planning as well as the CDC to get public feedback in writing. So we have that for the record.
Madam Chair, to Mr. Madison, probably council person as well.
Thank you. Fellow board member, I would like to add that to the request as well.
Okay.
Madam Chair, is the appellant still online?
The appellant is still online.
Yes. Yes.
And so my next question, of course, is are we holding this until we have something in writing, or are we just putting the comments into the resolution and recognizing it as an understanding Is that what we're thinking, or would you like to make it a condition pending the information in writing?
Any thoughts on your motion being held until all of the conditions are satisfied, or would you want this to go to ratification?
Madam Chair, I'm fine with ratification, as long as we are able to get that information.
Okay, so it sounds like you want to hold it until we have the information.
Yes, Madam. Chair.
Okay, we would hold until we have the information set forth in conditions.
And what's the time frame?
Just until you're able to get it to us. So I want to make sure that you're clear about the conditions that are placed on your approval. So you are required to do some community engagement. You've got to reach out to the council person in this area as well as the CDC and the neighbors, which it sounds like you may have done, but just get some signatures from the neighbors. And then the second piece of that is there is a limit to 3 occupants in the property.
Okay. Now, is there a required amount of signatures that I need?
I don't think there's a required amount of signatures. I think that if you address enough of your neighbors, I think that'll be satisfactory. Is that satisfactory to you, Mr. Madison?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. Any other questions, Ms. Moore, about those conditions?
No, that's it. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're very welcome.
All right.
All right.
Madam Chair, I just might want to comment that perhaps City Planner Gray might be able to reach out to the appellant and give her some guidance on the process.
Yes, he has left the room.
Okay.
But Ms. Moore, if you need to reach out to city planning, please feel free to contact Kenya Gray and he can give you some assistance.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to call the next case. It's calendar number 25-004. Do we have an appellant present for this matter? All right, I'll turn to you, Ms. Holzer, to read that case in.
Our next case is calendar number.
2 cases, they go together.
Okay, so oh, I can't see 2 cases. Yeah, let's put them together. I don't think that's a bad idea. Looks like it's the same, different property.
Leave them both.
I think we should. Let's do it.
Our
Thank you for
next
letting us
two
know.
Cases are first, calendar number 25-004. This is at 1914 Freeman Avenue, parenthetically 2175 West 20th Street. Mark Ebner, owner, proposes to erect a 2,348 square foot 3-story frame single-family residence with attached garage in a D1 2-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 5. Additionally, we have calendar number 25-005. This is at 1916 Freeman Avenue, again parenthetically 2175 West 20th Street. Again, Mark Ebner, owner, proposes to erect a 2,348 square foot 3-story frame 2-family residence with attached garage in a D1 2-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. And for this case, there are 4. And with that, I will hand it over to you, Madam Chair, for the oath.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'll go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. Mark Ebner, MarkEbner. My address is 2167 West 20th Street.
Okay. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else present online or in the room for this matter? All right, hearing none, we'll go to history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned semi-industry in 1929. In 2018, it was changed to the current 2-family residential district. We found in our records administration office that in 1893, there was a room addition made to a building on the property. In 1976, a permit was issued to demolish a 2-family dwelling on site. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history. Thank you.
Okay, is there any additional history for 005 or would it be the same?
I apologize. I should have stated that they're all on the same parcel.
Okay.
And I believe there is an intent to split them.
I went to city planning a week and a half ago to get preliminary approval. They're just waiting for the legal
Got it.
consolidation and easement and maintenance agreement.
Okay, understood. All right, thank you, Madam Secretary. Legal, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting for both properties area variances from the minimum lot size, required rear yard, and permitted front yard encroachments requirements of the zoning code. And for the first one, also a front yard setback, and for the second one, a maximum gross floor area. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. And then there's a note that on the first one, the board is limited in its ability to grant front yard setback under section 329.04C.
Okay, thank you so much. And I will turn to you next. You want to tell us about your project?
Yes, so I live on the existing duplex on this property, and I have lived in Duck Island for about 7 years now. So what I am proposing to do is to build 2 houses on my lot, which is a corner lot, and my existing duplex does not have a driveway. There is a curb cut. I'm proposing to eliminate that curb cut, but move it. So all 5 units of housing here are going to share one driveway, and I'm going to create off-street parking for the existing duplex as well. My master's in urban planning. My brother is the architect. He has a master's in urban architecture. So we've taken a lot of care to make the houses look and feel like they fit into the context of the neighborhood. Gabled roofs, not necessarily much larger than the houses surrounding it. We wanted to fit in with the character and style of the neighborhood. Also important as a corner lot, we wanted to maintain the existing setbacks along each street. The corner house is a very important and unique property because it addresses 2 street fronts, one of which is being southern facing. So we put the main entrance on the south facing aspect of it, and a lot of glass and windows. Furthermore, the stairs in the corner house go up through the middle of the house so that we have street presence, living space, so bedrooms and living rooms facing both streets, so it's not a dark stairway that isn't appealing to street presence. I think that's it.
So you mentioned that you're maintaining the front yard setbacks, but I see that there is a request for a variance. Can you speak to that?
I am okay pushing it back. We're talking about 8 inches here, but I have a couple copies of this. Sorry.
Thank you.
This particular block of Duck Island is a unique one. Still in Duck Island, that there are a majority of vacant lots. So my structure, I looked at the houses on each side of where I'm building, and we matched the setback. So where I'm asking for a 5-foot setback, the house immediately next to me is 4.9 feet. So I just feel, as an urban planner, that stepping it back 8 inches isn't desirable for the community. But as said, I have no issue pushing that back. I just would appeal to you.
Any questions from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair. So we are limited in our ability to grant front yard setback. So am I hearing the appellant correctly that he will conform with the code?
Yes, if I can just move the entire structure back 8 inches, 0.7 feet, I will do that. But that would also then reduce my rear yard setback by subsequent amount.
Understood. Okay, I just wanted to confirm. And then in addition to that, I would like the appellant to please explain what hardship that you'll face if these variances aren't granted today. And in addition, I'd also like to know, is it your intention to use these properties as short-term rentals?
The hardship would be that I would have a loss of value from the potential development. I think that the existing character of the neighborhood leads credence to what I am proposing to build here. And if I was not able to get the variances, anything that I would build would be substantially smaller and less valuable than the surrounding houses. My intention with the property, I have built 9 houses in the city of Cleveland so far, and I've only marketed one of them before drywall was up. I'm just a small builder. I don't know my timelines all that well. I like to control all my costs. So I cannot speak to the future uses of the properties, but
Do
that
you
would have to be a
operate-
future owner.
Do you operate other short-term rentals?
I have a short-term rental currently above my, where I live. I live in the downstairs. I have a short-term rental above me. And I actually thank the secretary for getting me on this agenda because my wife is due any day now. She reached full-term pregnancy yesterday. And over the next couple weeks, I think on February 9th, we are gonna stop doing short-term rental on my property and move it into the use that we feel we the house for, that is for her family to come from Colorado to help with the baby, as well as my parents from Sandusky can come and watch us, and we have our own individual space. That was always our intention with that property.
Thank you for your testimony.
Okay, so I want to clarify this front yard setback. So the code does allow us to permit a variance on the front yard setback if there is a building that extends the same distance. So I want to clarify your testimony that there are buildings nearby that maintain the setback that you have proposed.
The immediate neighbor at 1912 Freeman, which I unfortunately left my Riverstone engineered survey at home. But the immediate neighbor at 1912 Freeman is at 4.9 feet. Then there would be no neighbors to the west of me because that's the road, and then there's no neighbor to the east of him.
Okay, fine. Mr. Maynard, I can see that your hand is raised. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so the front yard setback variance, to be able to grant that isn't necessarily that there's another house in the area or next door or down the street that is less than what is being proposed or what the required setback is. It's a specific calculation and then a specific geometric drawing, if you will. We would need to either have the applicant present a drawing showing the setbacks of each property to the east and to the west, and then we would have to draw out that calculation. But it's my understanding that the plans examiner already looked at that. And so they would need to follow the required setback or push the building, by pushing the building north or west.
I did run some calculations last week, but I did it to the eastern edge of the building, and just using the Pythagorean theorem and my existing 4.9 foot setback. It's not engineered, but it came out to be 5.08 feet is what it would have been. So I can do that, but again, I'm okay just pushing the house back 8 inches.
Your preference to go forward with that process to get that variance, or do you want to just push the house back?
I will just push the house back.
And then the other thing is to make sure that that setback is from the foundation line and not the porch lines.
Okay,
My setback?
I think that was in terms of the population, but if you.
Doing the calculations, yes. It was from the foundation, but
If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, did we hear from city planning? Besides Ms. Leonard?
I got,
Yes, Mr. Bay, what's your opinion?
thank you, Madam Chair. This is Xavier Bay from City Planning. We recommend approval of the variances requested. It's great to hear that the applicant's willing to comply with the front yard setback. Thank you.
We've heard from city planning, is there a motion from the board?
Madam Chair, motion to approve calendar number 25-004.
I'll second.
Right, please call the roll.
Yes, Madam Chair, and I should also state though, before we call the roll, that this This approval is based upon a revised site plan that will be submitted showing that the front setback will be complied with.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Calendar numbers 25-004 and 25-005 are granted. We will hold ratification until we receive that updated drawing regarding 1914 Freeman Avenue. Once we receive those, we will ratify it and send you a letter.
Your project.
Madam Chair, I want to make sure the appellant saw that Ms. Leonard put in the chat that he will need a permit to operate short-term rentals if that is his intention.
Okay, he has acknowledged that he understands that. All right, so we're gonna call the next case, 24-200. Is there an appellant present for this matter? There's no one in the room. Is there an appellant present online?
There was a gentleman that was just here. He just walked out a second.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for confirming that. Oh, that's the point. He's back.
Madam Chair, I do not see anybody else online other than city staff. There is a Joe Dill.
Yeah, hi. I'm with the CDC for Ward 17, West Park CAMS. I was just here to speak on behalf if they were here to present the project.
Sorry. Okay, so we do not have an appellant present for this matter at this time, so I'll entertain a motion from the board.
Sorry to interrupt, Madam Chair,
Mhm.
but we did have Brittany step out to contact.
Oh, she
the
did.
applicant To
Okay.
reach out, so we'll try by phone and email.
Okay,
If you don't mind waiting a few minutes.
I don't mind. We'll give them a few minutes and see if they will appear. Yes, we should. Let's do old business while we wait for those communications. All right, looks like we have calendar number 2. Any objection?
No objection.
Objection.
All right. And then as far as affirmations, we have 24-105. They're requesting more time to work through engineering. Is that right, Madam Secretary?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, any objections to giving them more time?
No
objection.
objection.
No objection.
All right, did they say how much time they needed?
No, the affirmations give them 6 months.
Oh, automatically
Yeah,
6 months.
automatically
Perfect.
6 months.
Okay, so that one is approved. We'll go next to the reinstatement at calendar number 24-215. It looks like the case was dismissed on January 13th due to an unexpected absence. And now they want the case reinstated. Sounds like there was a family emergency. Any objection to reinstating this matter?
No objection from me.
Objection.
No objection.
All right, no objections. That will be reinstated. Do we need to pick a date or will you choose one that works?
We will choose one that works if that's all right with you.
All
Madam Chair.
right, that works for me. We now have a request for rehearing in calendar number 24-158. It sounds like there's a rehearing for mowing invoices. I actually recall this hearing. It was a little contentious. It sounds like we denied the appeal, and he has requested a rehearing. I'm not seeing a reason. Is there a reason that he wants to be reheard?
It's attached to the old business.
Oh, yes, I can see that. There-
However, we have been informed by the law department that this has been appealed to the Court of Common Pleas and it's actually out of our jurisdiction at this time.
So we can't rehear it at this time anyway. Okay, so we will deny this request for rehearing. Any objection to denying the request?
No objection.
Objection.
All right, so that will remain denied. Looks like that concludes all of our old business. Any word from our final appellant before we make a motion on that one?
Check my email. Hold on, please.
Okay.
Okay, if you'd give us just a few more minutes.
Okay.
We are attempting a second phone call.
Okay. What's that? I did. Yes, I'm so grateful. So grateful.
Come to the table. We have a representative for the appellant here.
Oh, okay.
I think they're going to get online. I just have them send the link.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
All
So have we
right,
read it into the
so
record?
We have not. Let's go ahead and read it in since we have someone here now.
Our next case and last case is calendar number 24-200. This is at 4622 Rocky River Drive. Cleveland Muslim Community Center proposes to erect a one-story, 3,000 square foot, two-tenant, parenthetically unspecified retail space and 16-space accessory parking lot in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are two. This case was postponed from December 9th at the request of City Planning Commission to allow time for design review. No testimony was taken at that time. With that, I will hand it over to you, Madam Chair, for the oath.
Okay, I'll go ahead and swear you in, since you're present on behalf of the center. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address. Go ahead and turn your microphone on so that you can be heard. Perfect.
My name is Naveed Hussain and I represent the mosque.
Okay, and spell your name?
NAVID. Last name is HUSSAIN.
And address.
Address is 4600 Rocky River Drive. Do you need my address or
That's
the
fine.
mosque?
The Rocky River Drive.
Yes.
That's fine. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. We'll turn to history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 1975, it was changed to the current zoning. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1956, a permit was issued to repair fire damage under a residential property. And then in more recent history, we see that in 2023, a certificate of disclosure was issued stating that the authorized use of the property is as single family. September of last year, a permit was applied for demolition. It looks like the status is still pending on that. And there are no variances of file and nothing of note other than what has been stated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Secretary. I'll turn to legal, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance from the requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship, particular to property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll now turn to you to speak regarding the project.
Yeah, the project to construct a two-store plaza, like a building there with a parking in the back, because that would be really helpful to the mosque. And to have a coffee shop or something like that. We haven't decided on the tenants yet, but it's going to be, once it's okay, then we can proceed with the actual architectural drawings and stuff. We did have a meeting, actually the councilman had a meeting, I think last week at the mosque with all the residents around, explaining in the process too.
Okay.
And what it was going through.
Okay, and what kind of feedback did you get from the residents?
It was on a Wednesday when everything was freezing, but there were like 5 or 6 residents that came in and they understood the process at that time.
Okay.
And they didn't have any objection.
Okay, so no opposition from the residents. All right, tell us a little bit about the operations of the building that you will put in.
The operation, basically it's going to be, I think the mosque doesn't have the money, so somebody is going to donate the money to the mosque to actually get the construction done there. And whatever rent the mosque is going to get, they're going to use it for the mosque itself. It will be like an income for the mosque.
Okay. All right, any questions from the board?
Madam Chair, I'm interested to know Mr. Hussein's position and if we have, if needed, documentation for him to serve as representative for the mosque.
Okay.
I think there's going to be somebody, the imam of the mosque that's actually dialing in right now. And I'm a member of the mosque right now.
Excellent. All right. And you had the community meeting with Councilman Slave. Do we have, excuse me, through the chair to Ms. Kukla, do we have any letters of support from council? Any communication?
Madam Chair, to Board Member Faith, we do not see any letters from the councilperson at this time. I do have letters from the neighbors if you'd like me to read them into the record.
If you feel that's necessary, how many letters do you have?
I have 2 letters of objection and 1 letter of support.
Okay. Madam Chair, that's your call.
I think just maybe a general sense for the record is fine.
Sure. The first letter is from a Mr. Bowers or Ms. Bowers at Ferncliff. They're stating that they are concerned. I apologize. I was just going to read the whole thing. They state that they're still waiting for the Muslim community to do something with the property that they demolished across the street at Ferncliff, 18325 and 18331 Ferncliff. He stated that it's sort of in a mess right now. Because the vacant lot across from me or from this person and the neighbor are against they are against any zoning changes because of the condition of that vacant lot at this time. The second letter of objection stated that, or the writer is Christina Tate. And they're concerned that the property has been in disrepair for years, broken windows, open doors, vagrants in and out. The disgruntled neighbors of the school and parents of the students at the school are furious to find out that the newly built gymnasium at 4600 Rocky River Drive is being used, although the temperatures have been below freezing and there is no heat. On January 26th, there was a soccer tournament hosted in the gym. Apparently, gym classes have been going on for months, although the building does not have an occupancy permit. That's regarding, that's in reference to a building next door, not the subject property.
Okay.
I think that's all that's they're referencing in this letter. And again, that one is from Christina Tate, and that's an objection letter. And then the support letter is this very short letter from Scott Tatzler. States that he thinks it's a good idea that the Cleveland Muslim Community Center do something good with that property, and it will benefit everyone in the community.
Okay.
And he's at Ferncliff Avenue. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Mr. Joe Deal, I know that you are present for this matter. Are you wishing to give testimony?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You raise your right hand to reply with I do. State your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. Name is Joe Dill, Joe. Last name D as in David, ILL. Address is 17407 Lorraine Avenue in Cleveland, 44111. And I'm here on behalf of West Park Cams Neighborhood Development.
Okay, you want to give us your position on this?
Yeah, so as previously mentioned, we did host a community meeting in partnership with Councilman Slife Tuesday evening at the mosque. We had a handful of residents show up who were largely in support of the project. We as well are in support of rezoning and letting them move forward with this development. The house that is on the property, it is in a severe state of disrepair. And we primarily, it is mixed use along Rocky River, but we primarily view it as a commercial corridor from our organization's perspective. So we think adding a new build option to Rocky River Drive would be great. Most of the available storefronts are in aging buildings that are in need of a significant investment to be able to occupy them. So having a product on Rocky River Drive that'd be more white box ready for a tenant to move into, we see as a value for Rocky River Drive.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Deal, for your comments and for being here. I'll turn now to City Planning. Any comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Xavier Bay, representing City Planning. As was mentioned, Rocky River Drive definitely has a lot of commercial context along it. There's also multifamily, facilities in the mosque. So, I mean, we're generally supportive of the project. This is a near corner lot. Placing the parking in the rear as well, which is definitely beneficial for the pedestrian experience. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bay. Any questions from the board?
Madam Chair, just through you, as it relates to the postponement from the December 9th at the request of the City Planning Commission to allow time for the design review, has that taken place?
Can you speak to that, Mr. Hussein?
Yeah, so basically the postponement was because the councilman wanted a meeting, I think, with the residents around, and that did happen on last Tuesday.
Okay, does that answer your question, Mr. Madison?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, any other questions from the board?
Madam Chair, I only have one comment that it sounds like the letters of opposition were really not focused on this particular parcel, but on other parcels and issues that they had. So that's all I had to say.
Yeah, that's the same thing that I gathered, Ms. Faith. So I think it's fair to assume that. Any other questions from the board? All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Calendar number 24-200 be approved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, can we call the roll?
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Vaith?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-200 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We'll send the appellant a letter, but he can contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for being here. That concludes our meetings for the day. It is 11:27. We are now adjourned.
Thank you all.
Have a good day, everyone.
You as well.